Brian, how important is your role in the coming weeks, just knowing how this team's playing with defense, field position?
Yeah, it's important, but I think it's always been important. But it's really fun to play with a team that has a really good defense because when they get stops and the other team punts the football down, we're in kind of that spot of the field usually with our offense where I get a lot of pooch opportunities, like to try to pin the other team down. And so I think part of that's why I've been able to have more inside the 20s this year already than I did all of last year on about half as many punts. And so if I can just continue to work hard and try to put the team in the best spot, utilizing those punts, Phelan's one of the top gunners in the country at downing those types of punts. And so that helps the defense really well. And yeah, that's all I really care about right now is helping the team get some wins. So yeah, that's a big way.
How healthy have you stayed this year, especially relative to last season?
Yeah, I feel a lot better than I did last year. But hitting the ball a lot better this year. I feel really good. And so, yeah, that's a credit to Coach Campbell and Coach Kristen and everyone who's kind of invested enough in us in the offseason. And I'm really excited to, go up to Michigan State this weekend and try to do our best again.
Early in the year, you took a couple hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And was it kind of like oh no, I went through this last year, and it impacted your punting to have a bad ankle last year. So, how did you feel then?
Yeah.
And why do you feel like it's improved? Have you intentionally stayed away from contact?
Yeah, no. So this season I've learned a ton of lessons. And early on, the first two games, a big lesson I needed to learn was just to trust the protection and understand that there's nothing I can do if they maybe don't have the right technique and block the guys or something. So after that second game, we really worked punt protection a lot harder, and they've been doing such a great job since then. But part of that was on me too. You see guys in the pros that get hit all the time when they punt the ball, whether their guys get blocked into them or not, and you got to be able to hit the ball well, regardless of who's in your face or not. The bad punts versus Colorado were more a result of me getting distracted by the rush coming than it was of me getting hit, because I've been able to hit punts with guys around me really well before. So that was one learning lesson, and then the bigger learning lesson that's come from this year is just controlling what I can control. We've had 24 open field punts this year, which is kind of like where you get your average up. But the way it's worked out, we've had 21 of those 24 have been into the wind, so my average is a little lower right now. And coming into the year, I was kind of being selfish. I was having the mentality that I'm going to have a high average this year. I want to break the school record and all this and that. And I've been able to meet with Coach Rule for a long time. We met for hours and talked about what the mentality that great punters have, controlling what you can control. Because if Cookie would have crumbled maybe a different way, I'd have a 50-something yard average, and I'd be sitting the same punter I am right now with this lower average maybe, with a high average. And so my focus is flipped completely to just helping out the team as best I can in whatever situation that we're put in. And this is by far the best I've punted in my career, and maybe my stats don't show that, but I know deep down, I've been hitting the ball really well. And so I just continue to trust the process and try to put the team in the best spot that we can in each week. But, those guys have done such a great job for me. And, no, there's nothing I've done differently outside of those first 2 weeks. That was just one of the two learning lessons that I have, taken from this year so far.
How do you deal with how did you personally deal with the disappointment of that Colorado game? I know you wish you would get it better that day.
Yeah, that was tough. It was tough for everyone, but it was either we were faced with the option to kind of run from the process or double down on the process. We put a lot of work in this offseason, and it didn't show up right away. And so you could either think to yourself, man, are we going to continue to go out and practice like this and put all this work in when it's not showing up? Or are we going to change the way we do things? But I decided personally to double down and continue to punt the ball like I know I can. And, we've been really, really well, playing well. And, we haven't given up any big returns outside of the kind of crazy one versus Michigan where the guy dropped the ball and then picked it up. So, it's been a steady climb since then. And I really expect that punting and special teams will be an advantage for our team coming up.
How challenging is the wind in Memorial Stadium as a punter?
Yeah, it is definitely really challenging because you just can't really tell which way it's coming from most of the time. every single game, when you go out there, the other team's kickers will come up to you and be like, man, it's always this windy here. And you're like, well, I should have seen last week. But no, it's just one of those things. It's crazy. Like when we played Michigan, it was gusting at like 30 from the south, and all 3 punts were straight into it. And there's nothing I can do about that. So I just got to go out there and try to spin the ball, have a good spiral into the wind so it cuts through that. When we played Illinois, that was a really windy game too. I mean, our kickoffs, we actually recovered one of them, but it got hung up there. But yeah, all 4 of our punts there were straight into that wind. And so, yeah, the best punt of the year I've had was the 32-yarder down to the 12 versus Illinois. I got out there, I was like, man, there's no way we can hit the end-over-end ball because he'll just get eaten up. So we hit a spiral and got 32 yards in that, which was great for the team. And so that's kind of just been a part of my mental like change. Like no one on Twitter or no one out there knows, you know, the circumstances we deal with. And the guys in our team and the coaches, that's who know. And so that's kind of what I've talked with Coach Rule a lot about, is just changing my mindset and understanding that, you know, the guys that actually know, you know, how you're helping the team, or guys that know the situations you're in, are the guys that really appreciate it. And those are the guys who you should really care, like what they think, as opposed to, you know, caring what fans think or what numbers say, because a lot of that's misleading. So, yeah, I've just been fortunate to do a lot better this year going into the wind. Last year I only turned over maybe 1 or 2 punts going into the wind, which means like hit a clean spiral that turns over. And this year I've turned over probably 80 to 90% of them, and we've had a lot. So I've grown so much, and you know, there's just so many ways that God's pointing me to part of His plan. And so I definitely think one of those is He's testing me with the wind right now, and kind of showing me that maybe coming back for another year, we can get maybe more even spread of punts with and without the wind, and really show the world what I've been working so hard to do. But yeah, I'm just really excited to go up to East Lansing this weekend, and whatever they throw at us, we're gonna conquer. Because I think one thing this team's shown is that no matter how far down we get, we'll come back, and we'll just keep fighting each day. And so yeah, I'm just really excited for this game.
Coach Foley had said too, like you guys, like you haven't had many opportunities to just let it rip.
Mhm.
There's been a lot of pooch punts or things.
Yeah. I've had three punts with the wind in my back, and 2 58-yarders, and my biggest hang time on the year with the other one. So I'm just continuing to trust the process and understand I can't control any of that. All I can control is my mindset. And so that flip right after the Illinois game, when I met with Coach Roll, has been huge for me. I'm having more fun than I ever have, just focusing on the team and not focusing on myself. Because I was playing really selfishly, I think, all of my career up until that point. And now that I've kind of just let it go and understand I cannot control this. And so just go out there and do the best punt for the team I can each time is really, I feel like I'm playing free now. And, the results have really, they look really well. Directionally, that was something I worked on going into this year. And so I've put about 65% of my punts outside the divider, we call it, which is kind of where the NFL numbers would be. And that would put me about 4th in the NFL since 2018. So the direction's been a big element for my game this year. And I'm just continuing to work with Coach Rule and Coach Foley. And, the results, they've come, and they're going to continue to come as long as we, put in the work during the week. And yeah, just trust that on game day we've put in the work, and the technique will take over, and we'll hit spirals into the wind and do well. So I'm really excited for the challenge we have this week. Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys.